What part of the legislature do you think we should talk about first?
Well, we can talk about the most recent thing that happened. The arming teachers bill has passed the House.
First and foremost, no one's being forced to carry a firearm. That's not the case. Had a lot of people on YouTube saying, what, so you're telling us that everyone has to? Like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. These are the requirements that a teacher must have in order for them to have the ability to carry a firearm at school. Okay, so number one, already be a handgun carry permit holder. Number two, sign off from principal, director of schools, and local law enforcement. 3, you have to have additional 40 hours of training. And 4, you must pass a background check and psych evaluation. So it's not like if the governor signs this bill that tomorrow we would have all of these people who are now carrying a firearm at schools. I believe this would go into effect July 1st like many other bills. A lot of upset parents, a lot of upset teachers. I believe the chant was blood on your hands. People who feel like the first real gun reform after the Covenant School shooting should not be putting more guns in schools. But, you know, on the flip side, I'm hearing some people say, I would feel safer with having a teacher armed on the off chance that someone tries to attack schools because they feel that schools are soft targets. Again, I keep bouncing back and forth between some of these arguments because I want you to understand where people stand here at this point. And the folks who are against this notion say, even law enforcement, they hesitate. And they're trained to stop threats. Today, one of the lawmakers pointed to Uvalde, Texas. Okay? You had law enforcement hesitating, even though they were fully armed. If those folks hesitate, what makes you think a teacher won't? There's been a lot of talk on both sides. I'm curious what you think.
One more quick bill update.
Sure. My phone's going off here. What's going on?
This is one we discussed previously.
Yeah.
The bill that would restrict flags in the classroom has died.
Oh, okay.
It did not make it out of the Senate.
People are going to think that you're just throwing these things at me one after another. Like one bill, one thing, like we're supposed to be doing this live. We're not supposed to be doing this live, folks. He just happens to have information that I don't know. Chris did the story about when he spoke to the governor about the vouchers. I want to talk about that. Now that we know that the school voucher bill here in Tennessee is dead for the year, News Channel 5's Chris Davis asked the governor, who was very frustrated about all of this. Chris asked him what he plans to do about the primaries. Some of the, well, it's no secret. You know, we've talked about special interest groups who have said that they will send a message during the primaries for anyone who is against school vouchers.
I can't protect you if you ain't on the right side of this.
Do what?
I said I can't protect you if you're not on the right side of this.
Well, I am not going to be for it, so I hope you don't come after me. And that was a threat.
You did take that as a threat.
I did. Absolutely take it as a threat.
If you are against our measure, we will make an example out of you. What was the terminology? Public hangings. Public hangings is what they said.
If you go back into session, people are saying, you know, you need to steer clear of these guys, just like you steer clear of the NRA, because they are clearly able of taking down people who leave the reservation, and they are much more of a threat than the school boards and the TEA.
So Chris asked the governor if he was going to play a role in defeating some of these opponents of school vouchers, the Republican opponents of school vouchers.
Elections are determined based on what people think is important. Policy matters in an election. School choice is a widely popular idea in this state.
That sentence threw me off there, where he said school choice is a widely popular idea in the state, because these folks weren't able to convince Republican lawmakers, enough Republican lawmakers, to sign off on this.
Would you like some numbers to back that up?
You got the numbers?
Of course I do.
Please.
About 55% of likely Republican primary voters oppose Governor Bill Lee's universal school choice proposal.
55% of likely Republican voters.
Correct.
Oppose the school voucher plan.
Yes.
So here's the thing. The first answer wasn't really what Chris was looking for. So Chris asked again.
Will you directly play a role in that? I know Governor Abbott was pretty direct in the Texas battle over this. Will that be something that you'd be interested in doing?
I've always been engaged in primaries in the state whenever there's an election, but I'll certainly be talking to primary candidates about how they feel about school choice.
It sounds like the governor is going to be paying close attention to this issue for the foreseeable future. All of the talk before about people being bullied into voting one way or another. I mean, the governor knocking on your door asking, hey, how do you feel about school choice? That sounds like what we can expect here. Remember the lawmaker who said, you know, I'm not gonna take this from Republican leadership?
I'm not leadership's and I didn't come down here to vote for leadership. I came down here to represent the people of the 92nd District and the people of this great state. I'm not gonna fall to my knees to stand for leadership.
Sounds like he may be getting a call from the governor.
I do feel like there is probably pressure on Republicans, since they have the supermajority, to do something
Major. So just so it's clear, because someone might try to ask this question there, I'm not trying to say these two issues are one and the same, because we're talking about school choice and we're talking about arming teachers. Those two issues are separate. But when you've got organizations like the Tennessee Firearms Association saying that we can't allow for the voucher system to pass, that's a pretty big voice in the room. And so when this bill dies and then the other prevails, it sounds like the Tennessee Firearms Association got exactly what they were asking for.
They tend to be very good at that.
They're very persuasive. And when it comes to primaries, they don't have to ask, hey, how do you feel about school vouchers? And then leave the answer at, okay, I guess agree to disagree. They could put money behind your opponent and then run you out of office. The last thing I wanted to talk about the East Bank project, because I don't know if people realize this, but things are moving pretty fast. Metro Nashville Council just approved the deal to move forward with the East Bank project. Over the next 10 to 15 years, this area right off the river will be completely transformed into a neighborhood. News Channel 5's Carrie Sharp spoke with the developers and, you know, some of the folks who are helping to make this project come to fruition. She talked about how some of their main priorities are affordability and making sure that they have housing for as many people that will call this area home as possible.
From very, very deeply affordable subsidized units on up to what we call workforce housing.
And this is locked in for how long?
Fallon is committed to keep these units to these affordability levels for the full 99 years of the lease, which is some 4 times longer than the city has accomplished before.
Initially, it was, let's create this brand new neighborhood to support this brand new stadium, Nissan Stadium, that's being built. In the next 3 years, we will see a new Titan Stadium completely finished. In the next 10 years, we should have this new neighborhood that supports it. And that's hotels, that's condos, apartments, retail spaces, parking, public transportation, in and out. But I don't think most people realize what goes into all that. And will it make Nashville more expensive? Can we afford to have these people here? But these guys seem to think that they can make it work.
We'd like to see a hotel building and then the first residential building, which is an all affordable building, starting in early 2026.
We're gonna be talking about this neighborhood for the foreseeable future. But I do think that it's important for people to understand what's being done right now before it's too late. If you feel like the plans right now are not emphasizing affordability, you can make your voice heard. Does Carrie got a part 2 or something coming? Is that what I'm getting?
She does.
She does? Okay, well, perfect. There you go. You guys got to tune in. As always, folks, we love to hear from you, okay? Like, comment, share these videos. We do respond to comments, believe it or not. You can just check the videos and see for yourself. But we want to hear from you. What do you think? And we'll leave it at that. All right.